So CSS today today's class is CSS. Just taking a Visual Studio and navigating to my drive. Yeah. So today's class is CSS, and so I'm just opening the project as a website, that folder. So where it is. Yeah, let's start the class. So CSS stands for cascading style sheets, and the main usage of these style sheets is to give style to the HTML, that is coloring and placement of the elements, and aligning them, and giving all the presentation details. So we want to make the HTML look good, so we use CSS to make good. So there are three ways to apply the CSS. One is inline, and second is internal, and third is external. So in three ways you can apply a CSS. Okay. So we will see what is inline, then followed by internal, then followed by external. So inline CSS. So inline CSS, you can see like inline CSS are inserted straightly into HTML tags using the style attribute. So we write inside the HTML tag directly this CSS. Okay, and the scope is just to this element. So it will get applied only to that element where you have written. Inline CSS should be avoided wherever possible. So mostly we don't use inline CSS. They should be avoided. So what's the point of learning those? So next question. So the thing is like they will be used. They can be used. But the thing is like mostly we use styles in external CSS to apply throughout the website when you are designing the website. But if you are designing something like an email template, then there is no need to provide them separately in external style sheet. You can directly use internally the colors and everything inside the template itself. So there's like majorly we can use these things in email. Okay, so what we have learned here is inline CSS are just we place them in the tags itself. This is the example of inline CSS, and these should be avoided wherever possible. And next thing is the scope is only to that HTML element, and we use mostly these things in email templates and emails, those things, not in websites. We can also use in websites the display, but it's not a recommended way. Okay, so just let's try this in our Visual Studio editor. So I'm just adding a HTML page here and calling this as CSS 1. Let us call it as CSS1. So CSS1. So I want to display some p tags. So p tags. So this is a paragraph. Okay. Next, I am adding some p tags. Okay. So here I can add a style attribute, and using this attribute you can apply some styles. So I'm just writing here color. Color gives the 4 color. Okay, 4 color of that paragraph. So color, I'm saying blue. Okay, and again here I'm writing style, and I want to give background yellow. So background, you have many things. Background color you can specify. Background also can be used. So yellow. Next, I just want to give here some style. This style I want to specify a font, font family. Let us make. There are many font families, so I just want to use one of the font family. So I want to use impact. Next, style. I want to use text decoration. Then I want to use underline. Yeah. So this is some of the styles I applied for the paragraphs. So each got its own individual style, and this type of applying the styles inside the element itself using the style attribute is called inline CSS. So I just want to mention S1 tag, saying inline CSS. Okay. Yeah. So let's call this as F2 inline. Okay. Next, I'm just browsing it in the browser, and you can see the difference. So inline CSS, the blue got applied here. Next, it got applied the yellow. Next, the impact, and next underline. Okay. So you see, like I applied to this tag the blue color, and it got applied only to that tag. Applied, so the scope is only within that tag. Okay. Let us see. Let us think. We have some more. One more, like 2 or 3 paragraphs. Okay, one paragraph here, and one view tag, and inside that I got one more paragraph. Okay, so I have got two more paragraphs. Now what I'm doing is I'm placing these all things in one bin. Let's see. So yeah. So what I did here is I took a H1 and I took a div and I took another paragraph. Okay. So there are 2 paragraphs inside here. So I'm specifying here style. Okay. Let us specify some color as let us take red. Okay. So this color gets applied to what what paragraph? Like, does this get applied to this one or this one or this one? So it gets applied to both of these 2 because these 2 are inside this div, and those don't have any style specified on the tag. Those don't have, it will take it from the parent. So that is the thing. So you can see here they all took the color. Okay. So these also don't have the color, yet they took the color. Why? Because color it took from the parent, whereas it took the background color from the element itself, and the style, like the font family from the element, and text decoration from the element. Here it took directly from parent, and it took directly from the parent. Okay, so and it doesn't get supplied to here. So the scope is defined within the element. So within the element, the scope is applied. Okay, so here you do see it is out of scope, so it has not applied that color. So this is about, and here it is overridden. Like parent got red, so it need to apply red, but here we have the nearest one. The nearest one overrides the farther one. Okay, so that is the thing. This is about inline CSS. Okay, next we are moving into the internal CSS. So add new HTML internal. So we just saw inline CSS, right? So inline CSS. Now internal CSS, we don't do anything for the tags. We do at the page level. Okay. So let us see what is internal CSS. Then we can see. So internal CSS, we add them inside the head element, surrounded by style tags. We use style tags to write the internal CSS, and the scope is that the whole page. The scope is the page itself. So let us see here. So we want to apply some CSS. So first thing you have to do is you have to take a style, and here I want to write h1 internal CSS. Okay. Next, I'm taking a e tag, and this is a paragraph. Look at that one, and I'm just replicating them multiple times. Okay. Look, and here I'm writing e tags. Give the color green or blue. Blue. Okay. So blue. So what happens? Let's see here. In the browser, everything gets the CSS. So the scope is whole document itself. Okay. Then comes the question. I want to apply a different color for one paragraph. Second paragraph, I want to apply a different color. How are we going to do that? So we need to identify this element. So there are many things like IDs and attribute which we can use to identify an element. So we can do many things, but I'm just using this selector. Okay. So yeah, I'm just calling this as P2. Okay. We can put that style, but then it becomes the internal CSS. It doesn't become the external. Sorry, it becomes the inline CSS and it doesn't become the internal CSS. Okay. Let us call this as special paragraph. So yeah, special paragraph. Okay. So special paragraphs are always. So what does this say? It is an ID. Okay. So you can directly specify the ID to identify an element. Okay. You can also specify something like you can specify the ID. So ID to specify an ID, always use hash for ID. Then you want to give a different color, right? So you can give a different color. So color and its value. So this is the property and this is the value. The property and values. Everywhere in CSS, only properties and values. You know how to use a property and its value? Done. CSS is totally completed. So that's the only thing we are doing throughout this class. Okay. So we want to give this as a red. Okay. So it's a special and it needs a red, and you can end with semicolon. Okay. If there is only one, there is no need to end. But it's a nice convention to end all of them. Okay. So yeah, see, it got applied with a specific color. Okay. And let us remove this one and let us take some other element. So we can use inline in the middle, but we are just learning internal. So we already learned inline. Now we are learning internal. So we can use inline, but we are making a way higher. So the thing is, like, we don't use inline. Generally, we don't use it. It's not recommended to use inline. So either we use internal, or it is more recommended to use external. So okay, so that should be the goal. Okay, so internal to be used only. You think, okay, this is something we are not making throughout all the pages. Okay, so I just want to take one element. So I'm just taking a div tag. Inside the div tag, I'm writing this paragraph. So this is a div. This is a div. Okay, same thing I wrote here. For this div, from the div, I want to give some font family or something. So I'm taking something like font variant. So I have small caps as a font variant. So I applied that to the div. Okay. So this is this one. You can see here. So font variant has like small caps as displayed here. So like this, you can identify a element or a tag. Okay, you can apply to that. So when you apply this color blue to p tag, it applies to all the tag unless it has some special identification. Okay, some special ID. So by default, it gets applied to all the p tags. By default, this gets applied to all the div tags. So like this, the internal CSS works. So internal CSS works like you apply it, it gets applied to all of them. Okay. So and you want to have like group few of them together. Then also we can group few of them together. To group them, we use class. So class is the next thing which we use to group. So we already used the ID, right? So I want to group these two into, or let us group p and div. Okay, one paragraph and div. So I'm just grouping these as what is the thing left. I want to group them using green, go green class. So let us take a go green class. So go green class is applied to paragraph and div. So now this go green, remember for any class we use dot. Classes dot, element direct, and for IDs we use hash. So these are called selectors. Okay, we already have one more thing. We again learn these selectors. So go green, I'm applying some font style. Let us take font style. So font style, we are applying something like italic. Okay, and background, you can directly use background also, or background color. I want to use green. We'll use like this 00 00 00 00 FF 00. So this is the background. Next, I want to use the color as yellow. Okay, so that's the thing. You can apply like this. Okay, so let's see how it looks. So you can see paragraph. It is a block element. Paragraph is a block element. So it got applied like whole line, and it took yellow color over here, and this also got applied to the div. Okay. So what is special here? See here, a class can be applied to multiple elements. Okay, whereas a div is identifying an element individual. Like you don't give same ID to two students if they belong to same class. So ID we use for only special identification, individual identification, identity. Whereas class is something like grouping them. A class of people, a class of audience, a class of soldiers, something like that. Okay. So that is about like you can class to multiple elements. Okay. Whereas tag is something like individually. Like tag is like it gets applied to all the elements. So like element directly you can use, it gets applied to all elements. So this is something like, this is called selectors. Okay. We have more selectors to learn also. Like we learn them. We will learn them. Okay. So this is about internal CSS. Okay. Now we are moving to external CSS. So I'm just taking new HTML page, external. So yeah, so external CSS. So here, in order to consume or use external CSS, we need to have an external file. Okay, so I'm taking an external file. So add style sheet. I'm naming this as external CSS. Okay. So always the extension will be .css for style sheets. Okay. So here external, I want to include this over here. Okay. So I can say I can use using link tag. So I can write link in rel style sheet. Okay. Then source. I have source. I can catch that. External CSS. That's it. Okay. Like this, we can link the external CSS into our HTML page. So wherever you want to use, you can directly link them. Okay. So in this external CSS, by default I got a body. I'm saying that all the font family is always is going to be something like Bookman old style. I'm taking. Okay. For body. Okay. And next, I'm saying all the paragraphs will be colored with blue, and all the div tags will be colored with green. Okay. Let's forward this one. And remember, like you can always do like this. So the thing is, like we generally have the style alignment like this. Okay. So next, I want a special div. Okay, special paragraph. So this one I am making an ID. Okay, same thing I'm doing. I'm not taking a different thing. Special paragraphs. I'm saying I want to give some font weight as bold. Okay, and for all the go green class, I'm taking font variant as small caps and background as hash 00ff00. Okay. So this is my external CSS. Okay. So this external CSS I'm going to apply to my elements. Okay. So I'm just taking internal CSS. I'm taking the same thing. Okay. And I'm applying to external CSS. Okay. And writing them in the external. Okay. Let us see and judge what has happened. Okay. So that's it. So this is my CSS. This is my external style sheet. So we said font family to be Bookman old style for all the bird. So it took Bookman old style for all the bird. Okay, and we said like paragraphs need to be blue. So you see, this is a paragraph, this is a paragraph, paragraph, paragraph. 4 paragraphs we have. See here, 1, 2, 3, 4. All the paragraphs are blue. Okay. Next, we have a div color is green. So inside this div, you can see it's a green color actually. And we have, or let us make div color something to stay out. Let us take it as a red. Okay. And you can actually come here and yeah, right. Okay. Next, special paragraph will be bold. So this is a special paragraph and it is bold. And go green, we are saying that go green is applied to this, and we said that use font variant. Though it is a Bookman old style, use font variant, like font variant as small caps, and background need to be this color. So go green used for 2 of them, and background became green. So like this, you can apply a external CSS. So what is the advantage of external CSS? I have not forgot to mention here. So external CSS, what is the advantage of external CSS? Yeah, the HTML page remains pure HTML, and the thing is, the CSS style sheet, you can use in multiple pages. You don't need to write it again. You can directly link it. It gets applied to other page. That is the reason. Like in a website, let us think you have some 100 pages. You don't write a style internally for in every page or inline for every element. We go global. We just write an external style sheet and use that or just link that in all the 100 pages. Then it gets applied directly. So mostly we use external style sheets. Okay, so this is so we use mostly external style sheets. Okay, so you understood what is internal style sheet, what is external style sheet, what is inline style sheet. Okay, so 3 things you have understood. Okay, next moving to our page. So external style sheet, like the same thing. He's saying that the scope is, here we have it as HTML website. So it is, we are what I'm saying here is totally a website level. Okay, and external style sheets can be added adding a separate CSS files through the link tag. We use the link tag and we add them to the HTML page. Next, if used as a part of all pages. So I mentioned here, those can be applied to all the website only if those are linked in every page. If you don't link into another page, it doesn't get displayed. Okay, so linking is must to get it displayed. If you have external style sheet, you have HTML. There is.
What's 1922? You know, a long time ago.
I don't know what that. Okay, so external style sheet doesn't get applied if it doesn't link it. Okay, you need to say like which style sheet you need to take. Okay, you can have multiple style sheets. You can have a style sheet applied to part of page, like part of the website, like few pages, and you want to use another style sheet for another, like some other pages. You can also use that. And you want to use 2 style sheets in only for one single page, that also you can do. If there is a conflict between 2 style sheets, let us think we have a style sheet, it says use color red for paragraph, and we have another style sheet, it says use color green for a paragraph. So what happens if you use both, we link both of them in a HTML page? What happens? It takes the one which has applied latest, so the second one is taken. So it overrides. That is the thing. Like it applies the first style, then it overrides the second one by second. So that is about style sheets. Like if you use multiple of them. Okay. So next thing we have is, yeah, here I just wrote some differences. Okay. This is placed directly inside the HTML. This is placed in the head section of the HTML. Whereas external is placed saved as separate .css file linked to the HTML page. No selectors is used. There are no selectors. Here we can use the selectors. What are the selectors? Like ID, class, and this. Here also you can use the selectors. Okay. Okay. Next, inefficient only applies to the HTML element. Only applies to the current page. Use this. This can be applied to multiple pages. Use the link tag in the head tag. Okay. Only recommended if you want to override a style on your internal sheet. Something like over the website you have a style, but somebody want something special style for an element, and it is not going to be used at all over the website. You can make 2 things. Go to the CSS, write a special ID, and applied that style in the internal or inline. Okay, or directly you can do the inline, but inline is not recommended. Okay, so go to the external, create an ID for that special style, and that ID can be applied to only one element, right? So you can use like that. Okay, only recommended if you need to style only one page. Okay, this is the most recommended. So same thing I wrote here. Okay, next, preference. What is the preference? The first preference will be given to the inline, and the next preference will be given to the internal, and the last preference will be given to the external. Let us experiment this. Okay, so I'm taking one page. I'm naming it as preference. Okay, in this preference, I took one h1 tag, and I'm saying check favorites. Okay, I'm saying here style, color, red. Okay, and coming to here, and I'm taking an internal thing and taking h1 tag and saying color need to be green. Okay. Okay. Next, coming to some external CSS, let us take
some overview.
Yeah, just a minute. You take another name. So I want to give this as style. H1 style. Okay. So here I want to give style for H1. Color, I'm applying blue. So I got green, red here, green here, and I got a blue here. So I just want to apply this style, style sheet here. So I'm just taking it and linking it. Okay, linked it. So I can link from top also. Yeah. So I got external style sheet, I got internal style sheet, I got inline. So 3 I got in one page. So for this h1 tag, what gets applied? The inline internal gets applied. So view in browser. See, internal got applied. So external inline got applied. Okay, inline got applied. Okay, let us think we don't have inline. So if there is a competition between these two, what gets applied? Internal gets applied. If we don't have these two also, then external gets applied. Okay. So that is the preference. So the preference order is first inline, second is internal, third is.
He's got a Twinkie in the city.
Dad, I'm the Twinkie.
You're the Twinkie. She's not a Twinkie.
Look, you guys. This is the best relationship I've had.
You got a
Relationship? Yes, a relationship. For your information, I am crazy about this man.
Yeah.
If we place the link tag after style,
Yeah.
so what will be the preference?
The preference is the same. So let us remove this one. Style and link tag. So you can see the preferences.
Yeah. Okay.
Oh, it needs to be green, right? Yeah, I think by the placing generally, yeah, it need to be green, right?
No, I think style I will be overridden. Might be.
No, if you place this on the top, it will be green.
It will be green.
So yeah, I think the preference will be actually for the. It depends on again the browser, I think. Some browsers go through sequence. Okay, some browsers go through this one. I think it displays different in another browser.
Okay, so the preference would be for internal.
Like, mostly inline will be preferred. That's for sure. And if you have a competition between these two, I think the HTML processor will read from top to end. Okay. So if you look from here, which is near, this is near. So this gets applied. So next this gets applied. Next this gets applied. If you place this one to the bottom, then I think this gets applied. But that's for not. I'm not sure like whether this is the case in all the browsers or not. Okay. What I have learned is this one. Let us look this one here. So yeah, where is that one? Yeah. Let us change this one. Yeah. So apply, blue got applied. So that is the next one. So I think which is near gets applied. Which is near. So the preference will be very near. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.
So that's about external and internal. Okay. Yeah. And next thing. Okay. So what we are discussing, yeah. Here you can see we have selectors. Okay. So the selectors we discussed, right? So HTML p tag directly is a selector, and class dot red is a selector, and ID hash we use for a selector, and attribute we use square brackets. Okay. This is for attribute. We will see it in the future. Okay. We use all these CSS. This says that whatever the tag that got this attribute, use it. And lengths and percentages. We have different types of like we can specify it in a different ways. The length, like if you want to specify the width of an image, let us think. You can specify using pixels or EMs or points or percentage. What EM means, like it looks to what is the current size and makes it twice that. Okay, so EM is for twice. Okay, and points. Generally we use this in for print media. Mostly in websites we don't use this one, and not a recommended way. And percentage, yes, we use percentage. Percentage is like it looks into its parent, and within the parent it takes a percentage. If parent is confined, let us think this is the whole page, and if parent is here and you say 50%, it will take only from here to here. And if parent is big and you say 50%, it takes up to here. You got it? So that is about length. We will see those things. Okay. So let us give all these to one paragraph and see. So I am just taking add HTML page length. Length. Okay. So what I'm taking is I want to work with inline. Okay. So this is a paragraph. Okay. So what I'm doing is here style. I'm saying font and size. Font size. First one is 12 pixels. 12 is normal. So I'm taking. Okay, let us take 12 pixels. Okay. Next we will take different things. Okay. So for want to take 8 pixels, and for another I want to take 20 pixels, and here I want to take 2 EM. I want to take here percent. I don't think we can give a percent. For font, I'm not sure. You can also specify these things. Okay, so I'm just giving small and medium and large. So I gave different font style. View in browser. So this is so you can see here. This is 8 pixels, 12 pixels, 20 pixels, 2 EM twice. Okay, and next we got small, medium, and large. Okay, what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to decrease this one. Okay, and I saved it. I'm just refreshing. Watch this one and this one. Okay, so this is still the same. Okay, and this got to 10 pixels, so it has decreased the size. Okay, so it will all so 2 EM takes the current size, so twice, 2 times, twice of the default one. Okay, so twice of this. Okay, so what is this one? So you can see here the font is how much it is? 1 EM. Okay, price of font. So yeah, this is about the fonts. Okay, and next what I'm going to do, yeah, here fonts, we just discussed the lengths. Okay, the lengths can be applied to different numbers, like we can also apply to div tags, we can also apply to images. Okay, the lengths. Okay, next colors, we already discussed this as a part of HTML. We got RGB, which says red, green, blue, and we can apply 0 to 255. Okay, and we have RGBA, so red, green, blue, alpha, where alpha stands for opacity, that is the transparency. And we got like 6-digit hexadecimal, we got 3-digit hexadecimal. 3-digit hexadecimal gives you like a limited number of colors, like we can't go beyond, like I don't, how many, like F is 16, right? F is 16. So yeah, A is 11, B is 12.
Yeah.
So F is 16. So 16 into 16 into 16. So 16 cube colors. Okay. So that is yeah. And here you can go for 16 power 6 colors. Okay. Here you can go for more. Okay, 0 to 255. So 255 cube. So this is more, I think, comparatively this one. Okay, and HSL, this is another convention of displaying the colors, but majorly this is used for the print media again. And I have not used this very much. So it like here we have hue, saturation, and lightness. Hue is the actual color, whereas saturation is the intense of color, and lightness is the light that we throw on that color. Okay, so this is about hue, colors. And colors can be applied to like backgrounds, for color tag, and like all the colors, like border color and div color, paragraph color, font color, something. Many colors you can apply. Okay. Next, text. we are discussing here text. So text, we have some tags for text. So here we have font family is one of the tag, and font family like you can specify either Times New Roman or Arial or Vedena, or you have many fonts. But the thing is, like if an editor shows you many fonts, let's check here. So I just want to style font, so font style, font family. So you can see here many type of fonts are available. Okay, but the thing is, like all the browsers are not going to display all of the fonts. Okay, so mostly recommended is to use whatever we are using in the website. Okay, so you can go. So you can. It is recommended to use the most popular fonts. Okay, so the way like to display. So if you want to use some special font, like you want to say that okay, if it gets displayed in one browser also, I'm okay with that. So you can use a combination of fonts, like first font and second font. So it says that if first font is available in this browser, it takes the first font. If first font is not available in that browser, then it goes for the second font. You got it? So like this, you can also apply the fonts. So like you can specify, more than one font, and first font is not valid in that browser. If it is not valid or something like not available, then you can then second one gets applied. It checks the second one. If second one is also not valid, then it applies the default font. So like this, like that, it applies. Okay. So next, we can have see here it is both specified as Arial and Helvetica, two different fonts. And we have a special thing like sans serif, like fonts are we say like a font can be sans or sans serif. So what is the difference? So see here, a sans looks like this, whereas serif look like this. Serif will be having these edges. You can see the red color edges that a serif is having. So you specify it as sans or sans serif, then it gets displayed in a different ways. But for some fonts, by default they will be on either sans serif or either serif. It can't be both, right? It can't change style. So that is about font family. Okay. And next we have font. These are the different things that we can apply to a font. We just applied font size. We can also apply font weight. So font weight, there can be different font weights. So we have bold, normal, bolder, lighter. Okay. Font size, we also have smaller, bigger, medium, those things. Here we have bold. Size is different and weight is different. Weight is the thickness. So this is the thickness. So it is a bold, normal, bolder, lighter. You can specify like 100, 200, 300, and 400 is the normal weight. So if you specify less than 400, then it is then it will be lighter thickness. If you specify more than 400, it will be more than normal. You can specify 500, 600, and 700 is a bold. So you want somewhere in between normal and bold. You don't want the bold. Then what is recommended? You want some special bold. So then you can take these two. Okay. It is not normal. It is not bolder. Okay.
You need to put in pixels or percent.
Nothing. You just specify as 100, 200, 300, 400, 600, 700. Weight, font weight as this one. Okay. Like font weight here you can specify 100. Okay. Font weight here you can specify 500. Okay. That's all. So that is the thing. And so I'm writing here bold. Next, we have font style. Font style, we have italic, normal, oblique. We have one more type like oblique. So So Broadway, let us apply, let us take another paragraph. So font, or the one we are learning, font, not font, font style. So font style, you can see we have things like I'll say what these two are. Okay, just ignore those two. Just observe these things. Okay? So this one also don't. I will just discuss what those are. First, observe this. Normal is the normal. Italic is inclined. Oblique is more inclined. Okay, it is not. It looks like italic, but okay. Inherit will take from parent. What parent has, it will take. Initial is different. Initial says give the default style, or no, don't take from parent, something like. Okay, and unset is like remove all the styles. Don't take from parent or don't take from any. Okay, so there is a difference actually. So this you can observe only. See, if the cascaded value of property is unset keyword, then if it is inherited property, this is treated as inherit. If not, this is treated as initial. What does that mean is, if this has a property, it applies both initial and internal depending on the situation. If it is inherited, something like, then it applies the inherited one. If it is not inherited one, then it will apply initial. So it chooses. Okay. So whereas initial, you can see the default. What I said, inherit takes from parent. So causes the element to gain it from its parent. Italic is italic. Normal is normal. Oblique is oblique. Okay. So let us do all this. Okay. Okay. So font style, for now I am taking italic. So I am specifying here it as italic. Okay. Next. Okay. Next I am taking normal. And let's specify here now oblique. I'll specify here oblique. Next initial. Next inherit. Next unset. Okay. Okay. We will see these three later. Okay. For now, just observe these three. Okay. Italic, normal, oblique. So I will just write here initial, inherit, unset. So these depends on the different situations they can apply. You can't say. Okay. I don't have it. So we in browser. So italic, oblique. You see, is there any difference? See, the this keyword or is keyword, paragraph, it looks similar. Okay, if I specify them together, then you can see the difference. So italic, oblique. See any difference? Then we have to do this. Now you can see the difference. You can see the difference.
Yeah. Smaller and bigger.
See here, it looks different. See, these are more thicker. See here, the A is written like this. Here the A is written towards the top. Okay. That's the thing. You can see R, A, PH, everything. Okay. So that is about the italic and oblique. So, but the oblique is not supported in all the browsers. Okay. So it is supported only in few browsers. Okay. That is the thing. And we have initial, inherit, and unset. So here you see initial, inherit, unset all look same. Those are no difference. So I'm saying that it takes from its parent. Okay. So let us check inherit. Okay. Now I will take a do tag. I'm taking the style on style is, let us take italic. Okay. Inherit from parent. You see. Okay. Next question comes is, though I don't have this one also, that the same gets applied. It inherits from parent. So inherit is something like a default. Something. Like generally it gets inherited from parent, but you can say like don't apply inherits at all in my HTML also. There is a way actually to say that, but I don't remember now. So mostly we use regular things, but we don't use initial, inherit, or unset. I have not used. Actually, yeah. If you want to become a serious web developer, then you need to know all this. Okay. I learned things which are required as a developer, full stack developer, something like that. Okay. I'm not something like expert in styles because mostly we use a style sheet actually, and we do this. But we should know all these. Why? Because like if you want to modify it for somehow, you should know how to modify it. Okay. So if you don't know what it is, then you can't even modify it. Okay. So you even can't tweak it. Okay. So that's the reason you should know. I'm not saying that style should not be learned. I'm saying that style should be learned depending on your position or role, what you are going to, where you want to fit in to the expertise. Like a JavaScript developer need to know JavaScript very much. A database developer need to know everything of database. So like that. Okay. So and initial and unset chooses between inherit and initial. So if you want to learn the initial versus inherit versus, so just a minute. So we need to see so here the inherit, initial and unset keywords are special values that you can give to any CSS property. These are not only for font style, but everything you can see almost initial, inherit, unset. So those are common. Okay. It says like take from parent, inherit. Initial says okay, default, don't consider anything, give the default. Unset says is parent available? No, and take default. Or initial. So that's the thing. This keyword applies to the value of the elements parent, whatever the makes sense or not. Some CSS properties such as color or font family are automatically inherited. Like some are automatically inherited, but not others. So something like display, margin, those are not automatically inherited. So here, font size, font style gets inherited automatically. That's the thing, we don't see any difference between inherit in font style. We are not seeing any difference. But margin and the display doesn't get from the parent, right? So for example, if you want to test them, then the font style is not the right thing to test them. But that is what he mean to say. So we will discuss all this in the next slides. So we have, I wrote them separate. Yeah, here justify initial and inherit. We also have them. We will discuss them in the next slides. Okay. So that is the thing, and that's about till text. We went here till here, and font variant. Like we can vary the font to different types actually. So let us see here, font variant. So what are the things available? We initially inherit and unset are common, and only one thing we have is small caps. So normally it's normal. So small caps is a special, and we already saw what it is. Okay, so that is font variant. So yeah, tomorrow we'll continue the class. Meanwhile, I haven't received from all of you the some, like, I requested you to send me the like your work. So I don't know, like few of you sent me, just reviewed them, and so this one sent me. So she sent, like Sharda sent me a nice application form and some tags. Then she did some redirection and physical tags, what we discussed in the class, and a table. So if you put them to work, then you're gonna remember it. So please try to do something out of it. If not all, also like do something out of it, and you're gonna remember it. You understand it, but you're gonna forget it if you don't do that. And I also got from Rajesh also. I don't have them now here, but I got them from Rajesh. He might have sent on the email. Yeah, so that's about today's class, and we will see tomorrow. And tomorrow we're going to discuss something more about text alignments, what we are going to see. So here, then we got margin, padding, border, element, what does, and how to apply those things. Then we got borders, then what type of borders we have. Then we will add some more slides, and we will discuss some other concepts. So we are just going slowly. Okay, so we will increase the pace. I just want to make sure that you are learning what is taught, or what we have discussed. Okay, so that's it. Yeah, see you tomorrow.